It comes down to the characters and storytelling in it, and the tropes at which it engages in.
Well, no, I'm just saying that. I'm saying you thinking that James Cameron is getting away with this, just by like people don't want to criticize it because it's him. First of all, I've seen a lot of people criticize this movie, and
it's coming out more, now.
And I see those criticisms as being valid. I get it. I'm not here to argue with anybody. If I read something, because I read some of those negative reviews, and I'm just like, yeah, they're right. I see what they're saying. I might not agree, but I see exactly what they're saying. But to say that people are liking this just because it's James Cameron, I saw a lot of people saying that that this is something where they didn't care about Avatar. Mm-hmm. James Cameron's getting criticized. Look at you now. You went from doing cool Terminator and Alien movies to now you're doing cat people movies and family friendly movies. He was getting a lot of criticism before it came out. DTmerch.com is up, and we got plenty of stuff for it. We got all kind of stuff now, from mugs to coasters to stickers to caps, hoodies, and we got the shirt of the month. Don't forget Pixie. Pixie's going to be our shirt designed by Teresa Rockabirdie. It's going to be up for the rest of December. The number one movie, to no one's surprise, Avatar, The Way of the Water. Weekend gross is $134 million. I'd like to know what the worldwide gross is. I think it's even bigger.
I think it's 445.
There you go. Set a record as the second biggest opening of all time. And that's on a budget of $350 to $400 million. So it's got to make at least twice as much somehow, some way, in order to get his money back. But you heard our review of this. Now, I'll tell you, I like the movie. I like the movie very much.
Why do you come to us? I just want to keep my family safe.
I like the movie very much. If you couldn't tell by our back and forth, this asshole didn't. No.
I was not a fan.
He did not like it very much. He was not a fan. But I don't think you're going to find us at odds as much as you think we are.
Okay.
But tell the people what you feel about this.
Well, I'll say at the top that I do feel like visually this is a very beautiful looking movie. James Cameron has become one of those filmmakers where he is more obsessed with the look of a movie than its characters or its storytelling, and that's on full display in this film and in the original Avatar. You have a really dull, generic story. You have cliched, vapid, poorly written characters. You have numerous retcons that come out of nowhere. I don't know. I found it profoundly dull. And normally, these problems, these tropes, these retcons, if they had been any other movie, people I feel like be a lot harsher. But for whatever reason, for this particular film, they're not being. And I'm going to call this film out for its many mistakes. It's like, yeah, I can appreciate the technology on full display, but clearly Cameron does not care, and the other filmmakers that work on this movie do not care about storytelling or character development. And you would just have, we literally have a whole new MacGuffin. We have Stephen King kitty cat bullies now. I'm like, this is what we're doing? And we just have annoying children who consistently get captured time and time again, where it's like, all right, we're going to focus on that. I found it annoying most of the time. And when big traumatic things happen to some of these characters, the things that are supposed to get an emotional reaction out of you, I was like, I don't care. You're literally stealing from, Cameron's borrowing from himself. The whole end sequence is Titanic. I don't even want to say what it is, but if you watch Titanic, you watch the end, all I'll say is handcuffs. Handcuffs play a major role. They should get a top villain for this movie because of the amount of scenes that they're in. I don't know. I found it very disappointing. But outside the visuals, I would have given this some old bullshit. But with the visuals, it's a very low rental.
Wow. You sure you guys are close?
Well, the thing is that you saw this in 2D. Right.
Yeah, because listen, I've said many times, I think 3D is a gimmick. I think it's made specifically to just get more money out of your wallet. I have never seen a 3D movie and said that was a superior visual experience than one I saw in 2D or in regular 2D IMAX.
Yeah, I see that. I don't like 3D either. Mm-hmm. And the 3D here was amazing. I think the biggest difference between, and we said a lot of the same things. but it's probably not to the same degree because I did say the story is kind of weak here, except for the kids. I like the kids.
Wow, yeah.
Now, some of the kids I did not like. You got these bully kids in there. I use the same term you did. Stephen King bullied cat kids and whatnot.
You're just like committing murder almost.
Yeah, no, they are. But then again, that's their planet. I don't know what they're doing there. They're not real kids.
Stephen King transcends solar systems.
They're cat kids. But the thing is that a lot of things that you're saying I found with the same movie. I found with the first movie. The same with the first movie.
Yeah,
I don't think the characters were that deep. After watching it, I was just kind of like, it was the same way I was saying that, man, visually this is incredible. And there are some places where the performances are great, mostly with the motion capture people. But this story is not that great. I think the big difference here is that I did like more characters. I did like the family dynamic here. I did like the kids. But even then, I can see what you're saying that is something where, because they're still not that deep. There's a whole storyline here with a whale that makes no sense. Makes no sense at all. None. It just comes out of nowhere and is meant to just add to some action sequence at the end. But the 3D was amazing in this, man. I think that's one of the biggest differences. And it's hard to recommend a movie when you have to say, if you don't see it this way, it's probably not going to be that good. I haven't seen it in 2D, so I can't really, say either way. All I can say is going in there and watching this in 3D. And in my review, I just said, man, this was this is the first time I've seen a 3D movie where I felt like it really pulled me in. Okay. Like I felt like I was living in this world. Those water scenes, being underwater like that, I was like, this is like being in not at SeaWorld at the aquarium, stand on the outside. I'm on the inside. Mm-hmm. There was a moment I went to go to the bathroom. You heard me say this in my review. He hasn't though, but I went to the bathroom because it's over 3 hours long and there's a lot of water. So
too much water in my opinion.
So I had to go pee so bad and I had to go. But I came back, and when I came back, it felt like I was walking back into the screen. Okay. The 3D was so immersive. Felt like when I took the glasses off to kind of figure out where I was going, I was like, shit, real world ain't looking as good right now, So watching this in 3D, I think is definitely a better experience, and it does enhance your experience. I'm not saying they'll do that with you, but I do think that watching it in 2D, yourself, you're not getting the full experience with it. This kind of 3D was made to improve on the previous 3D that we had. And I have to say that it does. Me being a person that feels just like you, don't give me those goddamn glasses. I don't like 3D. I didn't even know they were still doing 3D.
Yeah, me either.
But it was.
Cameras are trying to force it for years.
Yeah, but it's incredible what they did with it. Also, as a blockbuster, these are the same things that could be said about. I'm not saying that you're wrong, because everybody gets what they want out of it.
Yeah.
But you could say the same things about Maverick. Where. They're using a lot of tropes in there. Maybe the performances are better, maybe the characters are better. But, looking at it as a blockbuster, I just said if somebody's going to look for escapism, just pure escapism, I thought he did the action scenes pretty amazing. That finale, I'd be remiss to sit up here and try to say that, I don't like this movie because of this and because of that, because I did have fun. Stephen Lang, he's a cat person now. They'll show you how.
Okay.
Martin, the retcons that this movie does in the first 10 minutes. It is obnoxious.
And they do. That's
comes out of nowhere.
But again, it depends on like I can't disagree with you. I'm not fighting you. I'm just because people see what they see. I'm just saying from my experience, I think I see the same things that you do, but the things that really mattered in the movie, the action, the immersiveness of the world, if that matters to you, or if that's something that you find fun, then that's the movie will work for you. If you're there mostly for story and you're there for something deep, no, I totally agree with you. That's not there at all.
Yeah.
Also seeing it in that 3D format, it definitely enhances the action. And what can I say? If you see it in 2D, you're not being immersed in the world like that. And I think I had a real appreciation for the effects this time around. Everything just felt more real. It's been years, and not just the water, but there were moments that these characters felt more real, and I found myself more interested in them than I did in the first movie. Now, there are some moments where it's still a Disney knockoff family film. I can't disagree with him with a lot of things he's saying. We kind of have the same complaints, just to different degrees.
Yeah, I know that there are literally other films out there. If they did the same things that this movie would do, they would be criticized so severely. But because it's Avatar, I guess because it's James Cameron,
I
gets
think-
away with it.
I don't know about that. I think that, again, a lot of those people, if they now listen, that's for every movie. If something happens, if the first day something is said on Twitter, every move is amazing. No matter what it is. So there are those group of people out there going to say this is good no matter what because they're the early screeners. But I don't think it's so much James Cameron is getting away with this just by his name and just by it being Avatar. I think that, again, if you see this and the way I saw it, it really is a technical achievement, man.
It comes down to the characters and storytelling in it and the tropes at which it engages in.
Well, no, I'm just saying that. I'm saying you thinking that James Cameron is getting away with this, just by like people don't want to criticize it because it's him. First of all, I've seen a lot of people criticize this movie, and
it's coming out more, more now.
And I see those criticisms as being valid. I get it. I'm not here to argue with anybody. If I read something, because I read some of those negative reviews, and I'm just like, yeah, they're right. I see what they're saying. I might not agree, but I see exactly what they're saying. But to say that people are liking this just because it's James Cameron, I saw a lot of people saying that that this is something where they didn't care about Avatar. James Cameron's getting criticized. Look at you now. You went from doing cool Terminator and Alien movies to now you're doing cat people movies and family friendly movies. He was getting a lot of criticism before it came out. Taken on a technical level, which again, that's you can go in there for story, you can go in there for technical achievement, you can do a mixture of both. But if you go in there purely for story, yeah, I can see what you're saying, man. It's not great. But I don't think James Cameron's getting a pass. But maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, Korey. Did you feel the 3 hours?
Yeah, I didn't. The first thing I said was, okay, first of all, I felt it in the sense that it did not need to be 3 hours. That whole well scene that I said, that's 15 minutes they could have cut out, or 10 minutes they could have cut out. However, seeing it the way I did, it's like, okay, this is so cool, I can hang with this. Okay. Story-wise, it doesn't have to be, but I'm riding with it, kind of floating with it, if you will, because I'm just like
on that water.
Because it looks that incredible.
Okay.
I would not dare ask you to go see this again, but see, I believe that you would like this a lot better if you saw this like at a Bob Bullock theater. But again, if story-wise, that's hard to say too. Yeah. Because you might not like it that way, but I don't. I can't say this. You and I had two different experiences, like not from opinions, but just from viewing experiences. But I don't know. Again, nobody. It's opinions. Nobody.
No, very much
right.
so. Yeah, we're on opposite sides of this one.
Yeah. So
I'm very curious to see what they're gonna. Well, the other thing about this movie is like, it's weird because even though there's gonna be 6 movies, it feels very much like a middle chapter.
6? I thought it was 3.
Nah, he said he wants to make 6 movies.
Yeah, he wants to have people making them after he's dead.
Yeah, he's like, he has to train some. James Cameron himself has said, I need to train an apprentice to make Avatar movies because no one knows how to make them except me. And I'm like, okay. So that's what's possibly going to happen. But the weird thing about it, this is going to be 6 films, if not more. Then you wouldn't feel like the sequel would then just feel like a middle chapter. Because that's the biggest thing about this movie. It's like so much happens. It's so long. It's 3 hours, and it feels like a lot happens. You realize narratively nothing really changes. Not many people. I mean, yeah, some characters die, I guess, but for the most part, we're all pretty much where we started from the beginning of the film, except now we just did it on the water. We went through all the training again. That's the other thing about this movie. This feels very much like a slice of life film. Like in the original film where it's like, oh, we're getting integrated into the Na'vi culture with Jake Sully. Well, now they call him Sully. They did change that now. But now it's like, all right, we're going to do this same exact thing, except all of his kids are going to do it now. And it's in the water. And that's my biggest problem is like, it's the same goddamn story again. And it's like, why don't we just do something completely different? But it's like, nah, because Cameron is really into the technology and showing this environment, which, yes, it does look beautiful. But it just didn't feel like it had any narrative trajectory. It's just like, well, I guess we're going to go to the volcano kitty cat people in the sequel, the air kitty cat people. Maybe they're in space now. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of sequel potential.
Yeah. As far as I said, I don't like the characters, but like I said, I thought the kid actors were pretty good. The only thing with that is that Cameron's trying to do this thing where, I mean, you can look at it 2 different ways. It didn't really work for me 100%, but you can look at it as they're just talking their language. It's the equivalent of that. And they do I thought that they did do a good job at making this transition from, okay, so right now we're speaking Navi, but then we're going to transition to how we're speaking, to where you can understand.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that transition felt natural.
Speaking Navi, bro.
But
Yeah, cuz. I'm sorry.
But they have these. They do start using the word bro and hey bro, what are you doing, bro? And that's like, all right, it's not really working, but me it sounds corny. But if somebody wants to justify it by saying, hey, that's the equivalent of what they would say in their language, I can see that too. I would say Jake Sully, I didn't like him too much in the first movie. I thought he was just dumb.
Yeah. Sam Worthington is one of those actors where you're like, man, you're giving me nothing.
Yeah, but here he's a little more responsible. He's not dumb now because he's a father. He's actually being very humbled and also being very, he's more controlled now. He has to make decisions. He ain't being dumb anymore. So I did like his character better this time around. Only thing I said was he's a little harsh on those kids. And that's all. He's like told one of them kids, like, you shamed this family. I was like, God damn, bro. Lighten up.
That kid did shame the family, though. He did. I was on his side.
Those other kids were messing with him, man. That's why I said without too much at odds, because I think everything that you're saying is right story-wise.
Yeah. And I understand people being really enamored by the visuals because it is a gorgeous-looking movie.
Yeah. Maybe also because I wasn't like that crazy about the first movie. This just seems more the same to me. Just with consider like it's a remaster of Avatar. They went back and put a new sheen on it, new graphics on it, and I didn't really.
This was for the PS5.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the first movie I saw where the 48 frame per second rate worked for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It actually made things feel real. I don't know, man. And like I said, that's two different opinions here. I've seen so many different opinions of this that I think they're all valid. Depends on what you're going in and looking for. But I don't know. Do you think if somebody invited you to see this at the Bob Bullock, would you try it?
They paid for me.
They paid for it?
I'm not paying $35 for a 3D ticket.
Is it $35 already?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I was looking up tickets. It said 15.
It's too much. I mean, no, 15 is like, that's what you're paying for like a 2D screen. Depends on what theater you're going to, I think. I feel like
I was looking at
Bob Bullock is $15.
But if it's not, because I was like, I was going to take the whole family. Even the kids are in town, like we could all go, but that's a lot of money to lay out if I'm gonna sit there going.
Listen, you can go see that at the Barton Creek, and it'll be probably it's not going to be as big, but you'll get the same effect.
Okay,
I'm almost thinking like I'm like you. I don't want to pay $35 to go see this shit again, but I would be willing to pay something to go see it again, probably at the Bob Bullock because it looks so great. I don't know. I also agree with you on this. Like I do think if he's going to continue to put these out and a lot faster now, I do think he has to improve on these stories because I don't know what he's going to do to keep improving the technology. So I can look at this and be wowed, but per your criticisms, I do think like, all right, if you're going to be putting these out like every 3 or 4 years now, we can't keep repeating the same shit and having these cartoon ass villains up in there and everything.
Yeah, this ain't Star Wars.
Thank God for that. It ain't. Don't even get me started, boy. Shit, Star Wars wishes it could be this right now.
2024 is the next one, by the way.
2024, It is. Yeah, they set up a sequel real quick. But I think they need to bump up the characters in the story this time.
They have to. Because at this point, they're treading water.
Yeah.
Well, it's blue water people.
Splash.
Maybe they can fight the Wakandans in the next movie.
Cool.
Yeah, and you asked if this was worth 3 hours. There's a lot of time where he's just showing off the water.
Yep.
He's just playing in the sprinklers. That's what he's doing. Yeah. So yeah, you gotta keep that.